Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty.
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty.
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty.
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty.
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty.
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, welcome to another episode and another edition of Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. I am your host, Manager Marty. I'm glad to be here, very excited. I'm glad to see that you are all here live and living color. I got my guy here. I can't start this show off without acknowledging my main man, Pots and Pans, former professional boxer, current professional trainer, my friend. He's like family. He's in the chat. I'm talking about the man who fought so many good fighters. The man was in the Olympics. The man was a decorated amateur. Fought alongside with the great Oscar De La Hoya. The man done shut down Philadelphia. He also shut down Atlantic City. Made some good money in this business. Made some good friends in this business. I recall some years ago, me taking my youngest son over to the gym so that he can help me train my son. And I'm talking about the great Ivan Mighty Robinson. He's here live and living color with us. I want to give him his flowers while he can smell them. Salute to my guy, the champion, a pioneer of Philadelphia boxing, Mr. Ivan Robinson. Salute to you, Mighty. Good to see you, my brother. Had to start this show off with that. We're going to talk about some boxing today, the sport and the business of boxing. I think that we need to cover some more of this Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis fight. This fight is happening this weekend. There's some other people that want to still chat about it live. Some people might even want to come on a live broadcast and talk about what they think of this fight, what their breakdown is, who's going to win and how. So I'm opening up the panel live and living color for people that still want to come up, and talk about Regis Prograis versus Devin Haney. I mean, they got stuff all over social media. They, meaning Regis and Devin, they got stuff over social media now where they're on a bridge promoting this fight. Bill Haney and the strength and conditioning coach, Evans Toblin, who was on this channel, and they going back and forth. So they're still promoting the fight all over the country, and we are excited about it. So if anybody still want to come on up later on in the broadcast, or you want to chat about it, I'm gonna bring it back up. If you want to, go in the chat and tell us what you think about who's going to win. If you haven't done so yet, this week, that's cool. We opening it up because it's a good fight. It's the basically one of the last fights of the year. In fact, the fight's going to happen on the zone. And there's another fight card that's happening on the zone, and we are definitely going to dive into that. And I'm talking about Anthony Joshua. He's on that card. I believe that fight is on December the 23rd, 2 days before the holiday here in America. And then Deontay Wilder is also headlining that card as well. I want us to talk about not just those two fighters fighting their opposition later on this month, but them fighting each other. Because that's what I think the setup is. I think they're running a play where if both of these guys win, which with all due respect to their opponents, we think that they should win, that somewhere in 2024 that these guys finally get it on. Wilder versus Joshua. We're going to talk about that. We also want to talk about the state of women's boxing. We know what's been happening with Amanda Serrano. I want to get your take on women's boxing. And so I'm opening the panel up as well. Live and living color. Let's dive into it, where we're going to talk about the WBC's ruling on women competing inside of the ring, where the WBC doesn't allow any of their champions to go no more than 10 rounds and no more than 2 minutes per round. Should that be regulated the same for all of women's boxing? Or should they just completely abolish it and allow the women boxers to compete just like the men compete, 3-minute rounds for 12 rounds? I would love to hear all of your feedback on it live in the chat and also in the comments section if you're watching the replay of this live. And of course, we're going to open the panel up and we're going to get it on. We're going to get it on. Before we do that, though, typically we do our Town Watch check-in. That's what we usually do. But today, we're going to bypass our customary Town Watch check-in because I got my guy. He clicked the link. Didn't know he was going to click the link. But because he's here, I want to give him the opportunity to come on up here and let's talk some boxing. So we're going to bypass our Town Watch check-in, right? And we're going straight in. Y'all don't mind, do you? Let me show my face in the place. So welcome again to each and every last one of you. Welcome for all of my returning viewers. To those of you that are subscribers and a part of the Roll to Take Film crew, I salute you and I welcome you. If this is your first time joining us live in living color, I double salute you too. Welcome. You're going to find out that our channel, this podcast, is basically unique compared to other channels because there's two things that I go out of my way to make sure I produce, and that's education and entertainment. Just want to let you know that. So you're going to find some things that's going to make you laugh on this broadcast, whether it be today, whether it be any of the published content we put out there before today, and even tomorrow. But the bottom line is, as long as you learn something about the sport and the business of boxing that you did not know before you encountered this channel, I promise you I'm satisfied. All right, with all that being said, let me bring my guy up here. Didn't know he was coming through. but we stopped the whole show to make sure we stop ours. We stop anything for the champ. Mr. Ivan Robinson, the champ. What's going on, big dog?
Man, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the love, man. There's always love when me and you get together. Man, I just, I was
Always.
just clicking in to see what's going on.
Man, let's talk about it, man. Let's start with this because you've been in the business for many, many years, Ivan. I might as well just interview you live, man. You right here. The people need to know who you are, man. Hey, man,
Don't
look,
start that. I
Ivan.
ain't nobody.
Man, you are somebody. You are a pioneer in the great city of Philadelphia. First of all, Ivan, you've been boxing since you was a little kid, man. I know your whole story. We know you in Philly. Some of the people might not remember who you are unless they go on YouTube and see how you beat Gatti. Tell us, how'd you start getting into boxing? How old was you, Mighty?
Five. I was 5 years old. My dad took me to the gym, uh, and it started from there.
You started with your dad from the beginning, right? Your dad brought
Yes,
you up, right?
yes, sir.
Now, when you started in the amateurs, right? You were
Right,
so
right.
good. You were so good, man. Nationals, all that. How did you meet Oscar De La Hoya? And then y'all was like on the same team fighting in the Olympics and all that stuff, man. Talk to us about that. How you meet Oscar?
Well, the year before that, um, I fought Oscar in the Pennsylvania Golden Gloves national, and it was just how I was. He was on the West Coast. I was on the East Coast. I had to fight everybody on the East Coast to get to the championship, and I fought everybody that year, and I beat everybody. What was amazing before we even got to the nationals was that when I fought here in Philly and I won the regionals and the states here in Philly, well in Pennsylvania as it's called. The top trainers at the time was Barry Stump and Marvin Frazier. I took Marvin Frazier with me. Well, he was the head coach, and we went all the way out there. And we fought. We won. Everybody knew who Marvis was. I guess, it was a great look. But my thing was, I was just focused on fighting, regardless if I had a legend in my corner or not. His dad was good people, whatever. I wasn't worried about that. I was just worried about getting to the title. So we heard about Oscar probably going through the ranks to get to the championship. But me, I'm from Philadelphia. It don't matter who I'm fighting, where I'm fighting them at, as long as we go out there and we do what we do. So we got to the finals, and when we got to the finals, we already heard that he was called the Golden Boy. We heard he was doing a lot. He was getting a lot of PR on the West Coast. Down in LA, he was. I mean, like this kid at the time. Let me see. I'm 52 now, so Oscar had to be about 50 because he was younger than me. Um, he was getting a lot of pull in LA. Like I said, he was down near the mayor in LA at 18, 17, around that age. So when we fought, man, it was like whatever the case may be, it was just that I thought I edged him. I really did. I thought I beat him. I thought I gave him a whooping. I thought I did what I had to do to win, but he got denied. And when I went home, when I went back to Philly, because what it was and back in that time, it was all over TV and everything. All my buddies from school, all my friends, all the teachers, all the parents, everybody got a chance to see me fight on TV. So when I fought and I lost, it was a heartbreaker, man. I think I stayed out of school for like 2 days. Then I finally went to school. Everybody was like, "Mighty, you won that fight." This, that, and other. And my dad found that we would get him again. My dad just knew it. I didn't train for nobody else at all, but all I trained for was just Oscar. My dad pounded in my head. This is what we got to do to fight to get Oscar. This is what we got to do to win. It was other names out there that I knew that I would probably have to get through to get the Oscar. But my dad wasn't even thinking about them guys. His main focus was Oscar De La Hoya. Anybody else was in front of me. He just knew that I had the tools and the ability to go out there and sweep them guys. So we got called to go to trying to think, where did we get? We got a call. I know I was the youngest, but we got a call to go to Lake Placid, New York, to train and get ready for the Junior World National. It was me. It was Tim Austin. It was my man Derek James, who's the coach of Earl Spence, or was Earl Spence, of Earl Spence and Ryan Garcia now, and Anthony Joshua. We was all together in camp.
So wait,
Me, him.
you fought. Hold on, let's be clear, Ivan. So you fought next to Derek James. That's what you're saying,
Hold on,
Ivan?
I got disconnected because I got a phone. I had got a phone call, so you can probably hear me, but I can't hear you. Can you
Can-
can hear me though, right?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit.
All right. Let me see. I was saying. So you were saying. I just wanted everybody to make sure that they heard you. You said that you were fighting with Derek James, who was on your team as well.
Yeah,
Um,
Derek James think that depends on how you look at it. Derek James ain't that old. I think Derek James might be about 52, 51, somewhere around there. I thought I was the youngest. I always thought I was the youngest guy on the team, but I actually wasn't. I was the oldest. Derek James and Oscar De La Hoya and all those guys. Vernon Forrest. I was on the Olympic team with all those guys, man. So all those guys are like brothers to me, man. And it's just amazing how I got an opportunity to see those guys. But when we fought Oscar, man, I mean, even though we didn't get a chance to beat him, we fought him 3 times. We fought him in the Pennsylvania Golden Gloves. We fought him in the U.S. Championships, and we fought him in the Goodwill Games finals. All For some reason, all three of them fights were on television. And at that time, boxing was boxing, but it was just breaking into the world where everybody got a chance to be seen on TV. And even though I didn't get a chance to beat Oscar, even though I know I beat him, I thank him, because if it wasn't me fighting him, he wouldn't have been able to get on the platform that he was on to go to where he went, and then I wouldn't have been on the platform that I was on.
yeah, I remember you talking about how Top Rank came in. Bob Arum and Top Rank came in, and they scooped up Oscar De La Hoya, and he also had like a little bit of sponsors or something like that before
Well,
they came
see,
through,
let
right?
me tell you this: a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people may know if they. I mean, because your life is like people just tap into or push a button and they can find out a lot about you. I'm not sure if they did. I'm not sure if they even wanted to. But the thing was, when we fought back in the 90s, no, my fault. When we fought back in the late 80s, because I fought Oscar. My first time fighting Oscar was in uh 89. No, my fault. Yeah, 89, 90, when we fought in at the Pennsylvania Golden Gloves. And then the following year was 90 when we fought in US championships. And then from there, me and Oscar was on the team together from 90 to like 91 and a half, right before the Olympics. That's when I lost and he went on to win a gold medal. But right before then, it was like back then, you had people giving guys like me and Oscar money to live off of. Like, they would support us. They was like our sponsors. But what people don't know is that Oscar back then, he was the golden boy. After he beat me the first time, he was the golden boy. We was in camp a lot of times, and what we would do while we was in camp, we gambled a lot. We did a lot of gambling. Like, Oscar won a lot of money from me, Derek James, Patrice Brooks, uh uh all those guys, you know what I'm saying? All those type guys. And we didn't know that he was actually being, how can I say, being helped by main events, which was back then, which was Lou Duva, Kathy Duva. I can't think of the other son name. What
Dan,
they was doing, they
Dan,
was sending Oscar money like every month. And I mean, they was sending me money, not no $300-400 or nothing like that. I mean, I back then it was money for us back then. Now, more money is more money. But back then, I mean, they was sending Oscar like 5, 10,000 like every other day. And I mean, this Joker was gambling money. He was spending money on clothes, getting clothes and all that. So we looked at it as if Oscar was going to sign with main events. But and then it's how it is. Guys gamble and mix and talk to other promoters, and they swindle promoters to do this, they swindle promoters to do that, and sometimes the promoters swindle the fighters. So what happened was when Oscar won that gold medal at the Olympics, man, it was nothing but the sky for Oscar. And it was crazy that we thought that he was gonna go with main events, but he turned around and he went with Bob Aaron and Top Rank. Come to find out, Top Rank gave all the money that main events gave Oscar during the time getting ready for the Olympics. They got all that money back, and he messed around and he signed with Top Rank. So I mean, shit. Excuse my expression, but man, Oscar was the man at that time. Everybody wanted him. Every promoter wanted him. Every matchmaker wanted him. So I guess he said, "Look, I'm going to the highest bidder," and the highest bidder was Top Rank.
Yep. And who you were referring to, the other gentleman, you were talking about Kathy's husband, Dan Duver. I think he's
There you go,
dead now.
my man Dan Dewey. Yep.
Dan Duver, Kathy Duver's husband, and my guy, Lou Duver. Lou Duver. That boy, Lou Duver, get in the ring. He a trainer
Well,
fighters, but sometimes
it.
he get in the ring
Yeah,
and fight. He fight you.
yeah, Lou Dula for like for belt because Meldrick,
Meldrick
Evander,
Taylor,
Mark Breland, Evander
all of them.
Holyfield, and
Yup.
Tyrell Briggs. They signed before I signed because they was the '84 team.
Right.
But it was crazy because Lou Duva and them guys, they had that money to get them guys. But Lou Duva wasn't, how you had Georgie Benton, you had guys like Al Fennell, you had
Yup.
guys like Murky Sosa, you had guys like Al Murkison, some of the great trainers here, Georgie Benton and all those guys.
Georgie
Those
Benton.
guys
Yup.
actually like trained their fighters, took time with their fighters, showed them the ropes and all that. Lou Dua was just a fall guy, man. Lou Dua was the guy that if the other corner did something stupid or the fighter did something stupid to the fighter that Lou Duva and them had, Lou Duva was that guy to get in your face. I don't care, Lou Duva 95, 96, whatever. Lou, like you said, Lou got in the ring and he handled that, man. But behind the scenes, man, you had Georgie Benton, you had my man Ronnie Shields.
Ronnie Shields.
At one time I think Mark Breland was part of the team. So you had a bunch of guys, man, that just love the sport, man, and they did the right things. It's just that right now, man, we done lost a lot of our train. As well, Marty. We lost a lot of our good trainers, man,
Oh
and
yeah.
the fight game is just totally different now. It ain't the same no more.
I was just talking to a trainer at an event not too long ago, and we were talking about like training, like trainers. And one of the things that I said, and I know you can understand this, Mighty, is that a lot of these new modern day trainers, they got a towel on their shoulder and they on a cell phone, but they telling the fighter, "Give me 3 rounds on the bag, go run." They're not teaching that old school way. Uh, when I learned how to box, and of course you, a legend, where the trainers were really teaching you why you should do this, how you should do this, and this is going to happen next. So do this next. And they were teaching the guys about the fundamentals of boxing. And it sounds like some of the boxers nowadays, the up and coming guys and the ladies, they are not fundamentally sound because the modern day trainers don't teach the fundamentals. How important is it for fighters to have the basic fundamentals down pat in boxing?
Well, it's definitely uh at 100% rate that they need the fundamentals. I mean, I can't say you because you're a trainer, manager, promoter, podcast legend now. all that. You know the ins and outs of it. You know what it takes to be an actual fighter. These guys that's coming along nowadays, they don't know it. And I guarantee you, I'll put my money on it any day. I That's just me. And I'm not really a gambler like that. But I put my money on it any day that any fighter nowadays that think they can actually beat a fighter that knows the ins and outs of the fight game and can still do it. I just recommend somebody to try it, and I don't think that it'll happen. Now, for instance, take Floyd. I mean, I'm not a Floyd hater. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is that I think Floyd changed the game a lot, and there's nothing wrong with it because all in due time things has to change. There has to be some change in whatever you do, just like a relationship or a marriage. Changes has to come, changes have to be made, and in boxing changes needed to be made. But at the same token, you continue to do what got you to where you're at today. And I don't think Floyd changed too much of it. He just made a little tweak, or he tweaked it a little bit, and people just took and ran with it, man. I mean, I one thing for sure, two things for certain that I thank God for, that helps me a lot, that I feel pleased about, is that I still have my dad. So when I don't understand something or I don't know something, I go to talk to my dad about it. And at the end of the day, me and my dad might argue about it because it's pretty much not my way because I'm in this time, but at the same time, he telling me what it should be because it happened in his time. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, guess who comes out right?
Your dad.
Dad. Dad
Yep.
do. Yup. And I'm
Let's
sitting there saying to myself, like, how is that? He tells me because this is the way it's really meant to be. What you have now, like he said, is nothing but water. It's like having a watered down drink. You ain't doing the basics. You only getting by. And a lot of guys nowadays only getting by because I had a fighter this morning. Me and him was talking, and he was like, Coach, you know what pays my bills? And I'm like, what pays your bills? He like the skills. I said, skills don't always pay bills, dog. I
mm,
mean, that's what people say. Skills pay bills, but a lot of skills don't pay the bills. I mean, look at some of these guys that all right, take for instance like Ray Mercer. Ray Mercer had no skills. He was just a fighter that could punch, that learned how to fight, and he took it in and went in there and did what he had to do with it. Look, he was a late bloomer that fought in the Olympics. I think he was like 30 something years old.
dang.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So the common ground is as long as you listen. I don't want to say obey because I don't want to make it seem like you gotta listen. I'm making it seem that you have to listen to what you don't have to listen. But the thing is, I'm going to teach you the art of the sport, and that's all I ask my fighters to do, man. Is just listen to what I say, and 9 times out of 10, we're going to be okay. My thing is, why get me to train you if you're not going to listen to me? If that's the case, you go train yourself.
Right.
Because I'm never
Well,
going to tell you. I'm never going to tell you. At least I think I'm never gonna tell you anything wrong. Like I tell my fighters, when I give my fighters exercise or I ask my fighter to do this to do that, first thing they ask me is, Coach, why are you teaching me that? Why should I learn that? Because it worked for me. I know it can work for you. You just have to practice it. Well, Coach, I don't like doing that. Well, look, my thing is then you don't do it. But at the end of the day, I guarantee you, if you do it, it's gonna work for you.
let me tell you something. You brought up your dad, and I want to talk about this because I asked Marshall Kaufman this question because of course you know his whole story, his history with his son, how he brought his son up in the game. You brought up your dad. I love talking to your dad. Your dad is one of the wisest men I know of, like all time.
Everybody
Seriously,
like talking to that guy, man. It's
I
crazy.
love talking to your dad. Like it's not even about boxing. Me and your dad busted about everything, not just about boxing,
Oh
but he just
wow,
is
that's crazy. I
so
think I
much of.
should be jealous then.
No, don't be jealous because your dad is a boxing encyclopedia, man. He your dad, bro. You know what I'm saying? But listen,
Yeah.
right? Floyd Mayweather went through this. Roy Jones Jr., Sugar Shane Mosley went through it. Even you went through it, Ivan. Can you help the audience understand that father and son dynamic where at some point you may not agree with things, you know, that your dad say to you as your trainer, your coach, and then you come to the realization as a son and say, you know what? I'm gonna have to fall back off my dad as my trainer right now, and then go somewhere else. He's still my dad, but I'm gonna have to get a new trainer. All of those legends, and including yourself, went through that. How was that like when you had to come to that decision to say, my dad brought me up, he taught me everything I know in boxing, but we had a disagreement or two, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get another trainer. How did that happen,
Well,
man?
I still say to the point, and people that know me may say I'm pushing the envelope a little bit, but I say I'm not. I believe if I would have never let my dad go when I did, I would at least still have a lot better of a record than what I did. I don't know if I would have had all the great fights I had. But I know I would at least I know I would be champion if I was still with my dad. Um, and what happens is after a while we get to feel ourselves. We just feel as though that nobody can tell us anything. And at the end of the day, that's not what it is, because regardless on what you do and how you do it, this game is brutal. Not just being in the ring, taking punches, not just in the ring giving punches, but outside the ring, because you know what the promoters can do to you, you know what some of the managers do to you, and then you know how brutal it is on a day-to-day basis to stay focused to become champ or try to become champ. Um, I believe that your father never would do anything to hurt you. You just get to a point at a time where you feel as though you're above your dad, and your dad can never tell you no more on anything that needs to be done. And the reason I say that is because I was that guy right before I fought my first world championship fight. My dad took me all the way to 20, I think it was like 22-0. I had a fallout with him maybe 2.5 months before my world title fight. I let my dad go, and let my dad go, I think that's what lost me the fight, even though I felt in my heart that I beat Philip Holiday. And there were other people that thought I beat Philip Holiday, but I didn't get the decision. And I think I didn't get the decision because of the situation with me and my dad. They say God always shows you what you do wrong and how you do it wrong. And I think he showed me that the way that I let my dad go was not the right thing to do. And then on top of that, I say that when I let my dad go, before the Gatti fight, I had a seesaw career. I lost to Philip Holiday. Then I lost to Philip Holiday. I was damn near tre- terrified by that fight, that I took some time off, but I was still the USBA champion. I had a mandatory that I had to fight, and it was like I didn't really train for that fight hard. I got in shape, but I didn't get in the shape that I got in for the Philip Holiday fight, and I took that fight and I lost. I actually got knocked out that fight. I didn't really act well. I got stopped that fight because I drank myself like 15 pounds before the fight, and it took a lot out of me. And Pito, I fought Israel Pito Cardona. I seen him in the amateurs. We almost fought each other, but he lost the night before I did. But I lost to him. He was champion. I bound to get myself back together, and I did. I fought like two or three more fights. They were mediocre fights, but at the time of that, my fight was like my career was like on a seesaw battle. But I got myself together. Um, Me and my trainer Odell Butch Cathay got ourselves together, and we started working. And I bound myself that I would get back in shape and be the fighter that I once was when I was with my dad. It was kind of hard because my dad wasn't with me every day. We wasn't talking, all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? I knew what I did was wrong. It wasn't my dad's fault. It was my fault. So I wanted to know how and what I could do to bounce back. I just took some time off, trained, and I talked to God. And so happily, Bowie Fisher fell in my lap. And when Bowie Fishing fell in my lap, it changed my whole career. We messed around, won like 2 or 3 more fights. Um, we were supposed to fight Shane Mosley, and that would have been a hell of a fight for me and Shane Mosley. But I had fought like a month before that, and I got cut. And I thought the cut wasn't going to reopen because my cut man told me to put butterflies on it. So we went down because Shane was coming to Philly to fight, and we went down to the press conference down at the I think it was at the Spectrum at the time. Yeah, and me and Shane got into it at the press conference. We was about to fight at the press conference. So the promoter said, "Well, look, instead of y'all fighting here, won't y'all fight when the date was gonna be?" So I was like, "Man, look, all y'all gotta do is give me the contract and I'll sign it." I signed the contract before I left that day, arguing with Shane. Signed the contract, went back in the gym, started training. I was already in the gym from my last fight, so I was still in shape and I was ready. I just continued to train. We we had a date set. The city knew we was about to fight, man. I mean, people was calling me left and right, like, "Yo, dog, you fighting Shane? Man, that's a crazy fight, man. I got to be there." Man, we sold a joint out. But that cut that I had, it reopened and it knocked me out the fight. And I
Wow.
think what was good, but also what I think was bad was that Action News and Channel 3 and 29, they broadcasted that the fight was canceled. And when the fight was canceled, a lot of people took tickets back because Shane fought the kid that he was actually going to fight. But when I stepped in and me and Shane was about to get into it, the promoters decided to move him out and put me in. But when I got re-injured, when I cut open again, they brought him back. I can't remember who was the main event that on that card, but it wasn't a great main event, and the card didn't really sell out like that. So I was mad. um, I bound my manager to get me a fight, and at the time, me and Main Events was working together, and I was asking Main Events about a fight, and they was like, "Well, we ain't got nothing this that," and come to find out, Arturo Gatti had just lost to uh, Angel Man Freddy. So they was in seesaw battle for being Man Freddy to fight. And then they was talking about me and Gatti and this, that, and other, and so on, so on. So we we was just like, "Yo, we don't care. Just get me a fight, get me a fight." So one day after the gym, I was on my way home from the gym, and I got a phone call from my manager. And my manager was like, "Ivan, where you at?" I'm like, "I'm on my way home." He was like, "How far?" I was like, "About 15, 20 minutes." And me and my manager both lived in Jersey, but we lived around the corner from each other. So he was like, "Man, call me when you get home." So I'm like, "Wow, what's wrong?" He's like, "I might have something for you that might sound good." So, I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I hung up the phone. Back then, that's when we had cell phones in the car. So I'm rushing home. I get home, I run in the house, boom. I run in the house, I'm like, I gotta call Eddie. So I call Eddie, I'm like, "Yo, Eddie, what's up?" He like, "Yo, man, I just got a phone call." So I'm like, "Who? From who?" He like, "Man, I just got a phone call from Main Events." So I'm like, "Okay." He like, and they presented a fight to me. I'm like, "Who?" He like, "You sure you want to hear?" I said, "Come on, Eddie." I said, "I've been wanting to fight for like a month and a half, 2 months now, and this is good. I need this fight." So he's like, "It ain't for a lot of money." And you know me, back then, I'm from Philly. Man, look, all I want to do is get on the stage and fight. He was like, "It's an HBO show." I'm like, "Oh shit, HBO where at?" He like, "In Atlantic City." Atlantic City, like my second home. I had a condo down there and everything. So it was like my second home. So I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, we can go down there and train." He like, "All right." He like, "It's against Arturo Gatti." So I'm holding the phone like this. He like, "Gatti." I'm like, "Who?" He like, "Arturo Gatti." I'm like, "You talking about Thunder?" He like, "Yeah." Now remind you, Purdell had just I think Purdell had just fought
Pernell Whitaker.
Oscar. He
Pernell
had just
Whitaker.
fought Oscar, right? Uh me, Arturo Gatti, uh Robbie Pinner from Australia. What's my man name? The big heavyweight, the Somalian boy. That's my man. I can't think of his name right now.
Oh, um, dang, he was knocking people out.
Yeah, yeah, he was not him.
I
We was all
forgot
in
his name.
camp together. So I'm sitting there saying to myself, like,
His name.
y'all want me to fight Arturo Gatti, and we was just in camp together. But the thing about that, we never boxed. He always sparred Sweet Pea, and I sparred Sweet Pea, but we never boxed each other. So I'm like, yeah, let's make this fight happen. Let's go. So he called back. He called him back and talked to him. And so instead of he calling me back, Dan called me. So Dan, like, Ivan, how you doing? I'm like, what's up, Dan? I'm like, everything good. I said, Dan, is this true what my manager said? He said, the Arturo Gatti fight. I'm like, yeah. So he like, all right, we want to make this happen, man. I think this will be a great fight. This is gonna be a hell of a fight. So I'm like sitting to myself, saying to myself on the phone, like, nigga, you don't really want me to win. You don't think I'm gonna win, but okay. So then I hung up the phone.
Hey,
Then
Mighty.
Larry Merchant and them called me and was like, Ivan, are you really gonna fight Arturo Gatti? I'm like, yes, I'm really gonna fight Arturo Gatti. They're like, man, it's gonna be a hell of a fight. I said, yeah, it's gonna be in Atlantic City. I said, we're gonna fight our ass off. So about 2.5 weeks later, we had to go to a press conference in New York. So me and my man Rennie, we ride up with my manager Eddie. At this time, this when limos was out. So we all get in a limo. We ride up to the Atlantic City. I mean, up to New York. We get to New York. We sit down. We on the car with Fernando Vargas and my man I forget his name, the other guy. We on the phone. We all in the press conference room talking together. So they go first, then we go up. So I'm supposed to be the B side guy. So they call me first. I get on the stage. I'm like, I'm thankful that y'all guys, brought me in to fight Otero Gaddy. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? We gonna rumble. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like, man, we gonna rumble. I ain't want to, get all excited and be cussing my. I'm just like, yo, we're gonna have a great fight. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do our thing, and I'm gonna be victorious. I guess I should have never said that shit. I guess I should have been like, yeah, he gonna beat my ass or whatever. So he gets the mic and he like, yeah, well, Ivan Robinson is a good fighter. We was in camp together. I think he a good fighter, but um, I bring what he say? He say, I bring the guns and he bring the knives. So I'm just sitting there listening, like, what the fuck did that mean? So I'm like, okay. He said that. He like, yeah, well, I'm gonna knock him out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna punish him and stuff. So I ain't saying that. I'm just playing it cool. Well, I'm being cool because that's me. I'm being cool, but inside I'm raged. I'm like, yo, look, we got to get this fight going. So after that, we take pictures, we pose and everything. HBO talked to us. So now me, my manager, and my best friend Randy, we can ready to go home. So we getting a limo, we riding home. Me and my buddy Rennie sitting this way and my manager facing me. So I turned to my man Rennie. So I'm like, Rennie, I never this is something I never forget. I always remember this. I'm like, Rennie, um, what did Gaddy mean about guns and knives? I'm like, yo, we gonna have our fists on. What is he talking about guns and knives? And I never forget it. My man Rennie turned to me and like, yo, Mighty, you my man, I love you, but you about the dumbest ass guy in the world. So I'm like, what are you talking about? He like, yo, Gaddy mean you ain't got no punching power. You cut and you hit like a little girl. All you gonna do is just slice him up, man. He ain't worried about you. He got the gun. He gonna knock you out. I said, yeah, he did say he was gonna knock me out. But I'm like, yo, is that what that mean? He like, yeah, that's what that mean. The whole time, Marty, I'm in camp. All I'm thinking about doing is just boxing, boxing. I work with Mike Melvin and Anthony Thompson. The whole 6 weeks I'm working with those guys in the gym. And in the gym, all I'm doing is strictly boxing, movements, and Mike Melvin like, yo, man, Gaddy gonna have problems. He ain't gonna be able to touch you, man. He just gonna beat you up. So now the night of the fight, we all coming downstairs in the dressing room and everything going to the dressing room. So um the the uh the the what is it? The officials, the security guys in the corner. They come in, they make sure
The
that
inspectors. The inspectors.
yeah, that Leon Tabs and wrapping
Yeah,
my
the
hands
inspectors.
good.
Yeah.
Leon Tabs had to go. No, my fault. Odell Cathay went over to Gaddy room to make sure his hands and everything was
Right.
right good.
Yeah.
So now we in there getting dressed. I mean we in there getting dressed. Yeah, we warming up for the fight. We see, they got the big TVs in the dressing room, so we see the Fernando Vargas fight and Majeski. That's his name from Jersey. We see them fighting. We see how that fight going, looking good and everything. So now it's coming like to the last round. So now I'm starting to really, really warm up to get myself warm for the fight, even though we fought. It was August 22nd. It was hot at the time, but I'm still getting warmed up so I can go out there and get ready to go do my thing. So before every fight, we always get in the huddle and we have a prayer. So we had a little prayer, you know what I'm saying? We broke for the prayer. So something I'm sitting there warming up. I don't know what it was, Marty, but something hit me. Boom. Like, you know what? Excuse my expression, Marty. I'm like, fuck this nigga. We gonna fight tonight. So I grabbed all my guys right before the walkout. The cameras already had came in and was like, "Come on, Ivan, we gotta walk out." So I'm like, "Wait a minute." I pulled all my guys in. We got back in that circle. I was like, "Yo, I love each and every one of you guys." I'm like, "But you know what?" I said, "Fuck Arturo Gatti. I'm going out there tonight. That nigga gonna have to knock me out to win this fight." So I turned around and I was about to. I wasn't about to. I did. I went to go jet out the walkway to go run to the ring. All my guys trying to grab me, talking about, "No, Mighty, we not doing that, man. No, no, we ain't doing." Man, I shot out that motherfucking dressing room up to that ring, and you seen it. That first round, man, it was explosive. I already knew what I was gonna do. I already knew I was gonna just go bomb this joke out. The only way that nigga was gonna win was he gonna have to put me on a stretcher and take me out that joint. But I knew he couldn't do it because I knew for one, my hand speed was too fast, and two, I had the better defense than he had. As long as I didn't get hit with no shot on the end of him, like you know how he liked to throw his left hook or anything. And I knew that sometimes I like to pull out, but I still felt as though I was quicker, I was faster, and my defense was just better than his. As long as I didn't get hit with none of them bullshit and shots or nothing like that, I would be all right. But then again, I knew I had a great chin. I mean, I had been hit by some great guys. You know what I'm saying? Like 2.5 months, 3 months before they called for this fight, I was in camp with Purnell, and man, nobody actually ever, and I can say actually, and I know my dad can tell you the same thing. Nobody actually ever gave me an ass whooping like Purnell. So I was good. So I knew what the Gatti fight was gonna hold. Like I said, I was in great shape, man. I was in camp for 8 weeks. I trained hard. I ran hard. I boxed hard, so I was in great shape, man.
But you trained though to outbox Gotti. But then something came over you was like, man, I ain't boxing him. I'm gonna bang
Well,
it out. I'm
yeah,
gonna
well,
bang it out with.
first of all, I never like these guys today. These guys today be talking about a guy mom, talking about how they gonna kick his ass, and yo, we didn't do that back in the day. Yeah, we might have said, yo, look here, man, you not winning the fight, I'm gonna knock you out. That's as far as it went. But us getting up in each other's face and pushing each other, and then a couple years later, after not even after my time, it was in my time. The only worst press conference I seen was with my man Riddick Bowe and my man Larry Donald. They
Oh,
both
he
was
stole
fighting.
him.
They was about to fight each other. And remember,
Riddick
Riddick
stole
Bowe hit
him.
Larry Donald with that left hook.
Riddick
That's the
Bowe
worst
stole
I
him.
ever seen from that. That was the first time I ever seen a press conference go haywire. So we
Yeah.
didn't do that. So that was nothing I really had to worry about. Like in a press conference, yeah, we like we said we talked smash. Like Gatti said he was gonna knock me out. This that and that. That's as far as it went. But guys putting hands on each other, guy pushed the guy off the stage. Man, we didn't do all that.
Yeah. And on top of that, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, Mighty, like I always do. When I saw that when I was younger, when Riddick Bowe stole Larry Donald, I was surprised, and I know he didn't hit him with all his might, but I'm surprised he ain't buckling him. He hit him
Yeah,
with both fists with
exactly,
no. He hit him clean, dog. Like
exactly.
man, that joint was crazy, man.
Exactly. Yep. Same thing I said, man. So I all I can say, man, is that I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you. talking to these guys, getting their opinions on what it is to be a fighter, or the promoters talking about what they do, the managers how they do they fighters, because I mean, you're a manager, you know what it is and what it takes, and
Yeah.
just the whole thing of boxing, man. At the end of the day, regardless, if you're a boxer, if you're a fight fan like me, it's always gonna stick in your head. You're always gonna be a part of the game. Cause yeah, it's been many times that I've said that I ain't want to do it no more. Not far as the fighting, because when I was fighting, I love to fight. That's what I love to do. And back in them days, it wasn't no crazy money, and I wasn't the type of fighter that was worried about making a lot of money. My thing was I was worried about my skills. I was worried about, guys like you walking around knowing who exactly I was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care if you knew that I got beat by Arturo Gatti. I don't care if you knew I lost to Vivian Harris. I don't care about you knowing that I lost to Jesse James Leal or Julio Cesar. Those things didn't matter to me. Like, I can tell you how that era, I was glad to be in it and I loved it, and it really didn't matter to me. Dog, don't you know that nowadays the fighters that I grew up with, don't you know the fighters today are selling they their trunks, their gloves, they fight clothes that they fought in and all that? Ask me where mine's at.
Where is yours at, Mighty? I
I
haven't seen
Joe, I
yours.
don't know. I don't
Wow.
know. I don't know. I don't know where none of that stuff at. I know a lot of times when I, like, after I fought my trainers Bowie and Butch, in between rounds, I sweat a lot. So they threw a lot of water and stuff for me. And back then, well, it's probably still the same too. When your trainer wash you down with water or put water on you, it makes your trunks and stuff heavy. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times in them fights, after my fights, my trunks and stuff was so heavy, I didn't even feel like letting them sit to dry for the next day. I did whatever. I took them off. A lot of kids might have came and said, "Yo, Mighty, can I get your?" Oh man, take them. Mighty, can I get your shoes? Huh, take them. So a lot of my training stuff or my fighting stuff, I don't have. I still got a guy telling me that I'm depriving him of having my Gatti outfit because I don't want to sell my Gatti outfit to him. Dog, I don't know where the heck the Gatti outfit at. I don't know where that blue and gold joint at. And that was the first fight. That's probably the best one ever. Although I had a couple more fights, but that's probably the best outfit that I had made by Grant. Because back then Grant used to make all my clothing. But that's probably the best outfit ever. Because why it's best? Because that fight was such a thrilling fight, and as you know, everybody remember me from that fight. So somebody
That
got
fight.
it, but I guess they just not putting it up or whatever because they feel as though I'm gonna come after them after. Yo, man, I mean, if you got it, you got it. I mean, it's down there 2 centuries old. You can go ahead and keep it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Now that first fight though, Mighty, got you another phone call for the second fight where you got your probably your biggest payday when you got that check in that second Gotti fight.
You already know.
Yo, when you
You
first
already
got that,
know.
hey, let me ask you something. When they told you on the phone how much they was gonna offer you for that second Gotti fight, did you really believe that? You know what I mean? That did you believe that? Because that was a big check, bro.
I didn't believe it. It was crazy because after we and my thing was, like I said, I would just wanted to go out there to the Gaddy fight. I wanted to win. I don't actually, and if this is just me, this is just my feeling. If anybody tell you that they're like a fighter, if a fighter come to you and say, Marty, I'm going out here and I'm gonna have a spectacular fight. My fight is gonna be uh ranked as the best fighter of the world, the best fighter of the century, or the best fighter that month or whatever, he lying to you. Cause there's no way in the world this guy can actually picture what he gonna do the night of his fight to make his fight a fight that we're gonna remember 10 or 20 years from now. Now, I the reason I say that is because nobody is Muhammad Ali. Only Muhammad Ali went out there and told the audience in the world what he was gonna do to certain people. He went out there and did it. I haven't really seen nobody right now to say, "Well, I'm gonna knock Joe Blow out in the fifth round, and I'm hitting with a left hook and a right hand, and he going to sleep." I ain't never see that. So for me to be in that position, which Gatti had just fought Angel Man Freddy a couple months before me and got fight of the year, it was crazy. For me to turn around and fight him a couple months later and get fight of the year, and then I think I know I got 3 awards. I got one was for upset of the year, one was for fight of the year, and one was for round of the year. I never heard a fighter getting all 3 of those, but I got all 3 of those. And I thank God, and I thank the boxing organization, and I box the world. I thank the world for doing that, because and I've always been told by my dad that when you go out there and you perform, of course you performing for yourself. You performing to be and to come home in great health. You performing to do a great deed that day. But at the end of the day, it's about the fans. Because if you don't have the fans in your corner, if you don't have the fans knowing who you are, if you don't have fans that like you, you're not gonna make no money. You got to understand, you have to have fans. Just like, for instance, Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is probably the biggest selling boxer right now in the world. He bigger than Floyd. He bigger than Joshua. Even though I know Joshua and them and all those guys make a whole lot of money overseas and everything. But just imagine if Gervonta Davis did fight overseas or in Saudi Arabia or wherever, would he top to Anthony Joshua? He probably would. He probably would outsell. So, and what I'm saying in that case is that a lot of fighters don't blend in with their fans. Your fan base is basically how you get paid. If a fan don't like you, he not turning on the TV to watch you, or he not paying to come see you fight. So at the end of the day, you have to have some kind of calamity for the fight for the fans, because like I said, the fans, they're gonna like you or they're gonna dislike you. They're gonna love you or they're not gonna love you. They're gonna pay to come see you fight or they're not gonna pay to see you fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that I knew fighting Gatti was gonna be the biggest for me, but I didn't know how big, man. I mean, if you could only have seen all those people in that arena at that time. And I don't mean just regular people. I mean movie stars, superstar. I met at that time back then it was the Sopranos. And the Sopranos was kind of like the mob. They was like the mob from the real world, but they was the mob on TV. Every Soprano was there at Gatti fight. I even had uh I can't remember his name. I think I want to say it right. I think it might have been Joey Molina who was in Philly, the big mob boss in Philly.
I know who he is.
He he came to the fight. He came to my dressing room and shook my hand. Man, it was so many people there that night. Roy, of course, Roy was there because Roy commentated the fight. Morris came. Jackie came. Uh, it was just so many people there, man. My man, Winky Wright and all those guys came, man. Everybody was there that basically just about everybody. I was there on that 92 Olympic team. They came through. Um, my 86 junior national team came through. And then, what really impressed me the most was how the city really stood up for me. I mean, you know me, Marty. I'm not the guy to
Yeah.
be toot my own horn and nothing like that.
Yeah.
But I was a pretty known guy in the city of Philly. At least I thought I was. But the night of the fight, I felt though I was more than that. I had so many people to come out and represent me, represent the city. And I was just glad that I was able to go out there and represent the city of Philly, the way that it needed to be represented, man.
Yes,
I
you
went out
did.
there and I did my thing. And I never knew it was going to be a second fight. That fight, the second fight, was the fight that really catapulted me. Because, yeah,
Yep.
of course, after that fight, I'll never forget it, man. Walking down a boardwalk, man, I had uh uh I had all the main events chasing me down. I had Lou Duva chasing me down. I had uh uh what's the Larry Merchant. I had everybody just telling me that we had to have a second fight. And my thing was I didn't want a second fight. It
Why
was
not?
because for one, I was in my prime at the time and Gatti was in his prime at the time. And up to the Gatti fight was probably the most difficult guy that I fought up until I fought Gatti was the drunken master. Uh
Oh,
damn,
my man, he used to do the
yeah, he
all
was
the
the
funny
drunken
moves in the
master.
ring.
He did all that
Uh,
crazy stuff.
man, what's my man name?
I know.
Damn,
Yeah,
I
I'll
know
think of
better
him
than
in a
this.
minute. But yeah, he was about the
Emmanuel,
most difficult fighter that I fought.
Emmanuel Augustus,
Yeah, Emmanuel
Emmanuel
Augustus.
Augustus.
There you go. He wasn't a puncher, but he was very difficult.
I know my
And
boxing. Emmanuel
huh?
Augustus. I said
Yeah,
I know
Emmanuel
my
Augustus.
boxing. You caught me slipping. You caught me
Yeah,
slipping.
but then when I fought Gatti, man, I mean, Gatti actually can punch. And you see stuff on TV on how guys are, and you say to yourself, no. But what scared me was that we was getting ready for the whole Gatti fight, and I asked my manager why he waited to do this. It was crazy. When you getting ready for a fight, you always get tapes. If it ain't the tape that the last guy just fought, it may be tapes from like a year ago or 2 years ago. But the crazy part of my thing was they gave me a tape of Arturo Gatti when he had fought Rafael Ruelas. And he had just fought Rafael Ruelas like a fight before he fought Angel Manfredi. And he knocked out Rafael Ruelas with a body shot. And
Mm.
I said to myself, I said, there's no way in the world, and knowing me being a boxer, I said, there's no way in the world a guy can knock a guy with a body shot the way he knocked him out. Shit. That fourth round, that nigga hit me with that left hook. Man, I swear I thought I was on the boardwalk. I swear, I'm telling. I never been hit that hard, Marty. Never. In sparring or before I fought anybody before I fought Gatti. Never.
So that's why you didn't want to fight him that second time.
Yeah, that was one reason why I didn't want to fight him that second fight, man. Um, it wasn't that I couldn't be. I just felt as though I should move on to something bigger and better. I wanted to fight Shane. Uh, I think Shane was getting ready to fight. Ah, I can't remember who Shane was getting ready to fight. But Shane, oh, he's getting ready to fight John Brown. He getting ready to fight my man John Brown from Atlantic City. Um, and they was talking about, well, you gonna have to wait another mandatory. Once you fight that, then you gotta fight as mandatory. Then you gotta. I'm like, man, look, I'm not doing all that. I'm like, man, no, I'm cool. I just sit and wait. And HBO, I swear to God, HBO kept calling me. Larry Merchant, and them guys kept calling me. Lou Duva and them kept calling me and calling me. I'm like, look, all right, you know what? Talk to my manager. So Eddie already knew what type of guy I was. It didn't matter, man. As long as the price was right, and long as I knew who I was fighting, and you gave me enough time, it didn't matter. But see, what they didn't know is when we signed for the second fight, and it was crazy because they bothered me that whole night. I mean, when we left Atlantic City, we stayed in Atlantic City. They called me from about 11:30 that night to about 2 in the morning because what happened, I had left my hotel room. It was crazy too. I left my hotel room, went downstairs in the casino. I go down in the casino. Guess who I'm down in the casino with? I'm down in the casino with AI.
Allen
At that
Iverson.
time, my man Jay Williams,
I
and
remember
me
this
and Aaron
story.
McKee, we came out of grass together. He came through because he was like, man, I want to see you fight. I was like, come on through. Gave him tickets and everything. I didn't know he was bringing AI with him. He was like, I need 2 tickets. So I thought maybe he was going to bring somebody else. He brought AI with him. We all down in the lobby gambling and everything, this, that, and other. Gatti comes down to the casino, like, yo, Ivan, we gonna do it again or what? I'm like, huh? He like, we gonna fight again or what? I'm like, this nigga asking me this shit like we played basketball or something. Like I'm not hurting or anything. Like I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He like, come on, man, we gotta do this again. He's like, I can't just lose to one guy and not fight him again. He was like, anybody I lose to, I fight again. And I said, what normally happen? He's like, I normally win. Oh, now you got my blood pressure rise up. All right, we're gonna
Yeah.
have to do this again. So I waited. I went back to the room, got up the next morning, and I'm riding home in my car. And like I said, back then that's when we had the block phones. So my phone in my car, and I'm riding home. So when the phone rings, I look at it and it say caller ID, but it don't have no number now. So I'm sitting there like, I wonder if I should pick this phone up. So I pick it up. It's Lou Duvin up. Yo, Ivan, man, look, we got to get this fight again. So I'm sitting there saying, like, all right, I beat him the first time. So now y'all want me to fight him again. I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, yo, all right, well, what type of money? They like, well, we'll talk that with your manager. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I hang up the phone. By the time I get home to Jersey, because at that time I was living in I'm living in shoot. I'm living out in Cherry Hill. So I get to my manager house. So my manager like, yo, Ivan, they done called me like 10 times, man. I done got like 4 or 5 different uh payments that they want to pay you for the fight. So now I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, actually saying to myself, like, I miss my dad because me and my dad wasn't together. I'm like, I miss my dad. I really wish my dad was with me, this, that, and other. But now I got to think about this second fight. So now I'm thinking about like money, how much money they gonna give me? Are they trying to jip me? What's the deal, man? When my manager called me the first time with the price, I'm sitting there like, because my manager normally makes all the decisions, which
Yes,
I make the final decision, but I
that's
gave
correct.
him this opportunity to make the decision to see where he was gonna be at. And he told me the first price, he was like, Ivan, I don't like it. So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, what you decide is what you decide. We're gonna work with that. He's like, I'm gonna call him back and see, how much money we can get. I'm like, all right, cool. So he called, I guess he called him or whatever, talked to him. I ain't hear from him for about a half an hour. He called me back. He like, Ivan, they gave me another price. And I'm not cool with that. I'm like, all right, how much is it? He told me. I'm like saying to myself, like, nigga, this a lot of money. I never made this type of money before. I'm saying
Yeah.
to myself, like, damn. He like, no, I can get you more. So now I'm sitting there like thinking, like, can this dog give me one? So I'm like, all right, you know what? That's cool. I'm good. All right, go ahead. You got it. He called me back about 2 hours later. So as time going by within that 2 hours, I'm saying to myself, like, yeah, that's good. I ain't gonna have to fight this nigga no more. They not gonna call me. I'm cool. I can go to sleep now. Right? Soon as I said that, the phone rung. So I picked up the phone. I'm like, yo, what's up, Ed? He like, yo, we going. I'm like, what you talking about? He like, I got it. We got the money we need. We going. I'm like, you sure? He like, yeah. I'm like, all right. He like, well, let's go to camp next week. I'm like, hell no. I'm going to camp tomorrow. He like, what? I'm like, yo, this because I had just rented a big duplex out in the northeast, out Corman Suites. At that time, that's where everything was at. We was out there. So I'm like, yo, I'm going back out to the suites where we was at. He like, you sure? I'm like, man, I'm leaving tomorrow. He like, nah. I'm like, dog, I'm leaving tomorrow. I ain't even take nothing out my bags. Only thing I took out my bags, I think, was my shoes and my cup and stuff. Like I told you, I think I left all my training gear, the stuff that I fought in. I think I already had left that in Atlantic City because I already had called the person which was Grant, who make all my gear. I already called them and told them what color I wanted and everything. And they was like, well, we'll have it to you in a week. I'm like, that's cool. The fight ain't for another 6 to 8 weeks. They're like, no, we have it for you in a week. I'm like, cool. I didn't even know where the other uniform was at, man. I shot to the camp. I called my team. I was like, yo, y'all niggas meet me in camp tomorrow morning. I'll be at camp at 9 o'clock. It was like, yo, man, we just got back. I like, yeah, I know. I just got back too, but I'm going to camp. They was like, all right, well, we'll see you Tuesday because it was Sunday. They was like, we'll see you Tuesday. I went to the camp. I just chilled all day, watched TV, talked to my kids, played with my kids and everything because they came over Tuesday morning. We was right. We got that check, and that was that's the thing about main events that I liked about them. They whatever you was fighting for, whatever they told you, they already had the I guess wires or whatever, the wire tap or whatever, or the extension to put the money in the camp. I mean, in your bank. When they told me how much money I was getting for the fight, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, y'all crazy. Their dude was like, "Yo, this is what you get. We gonna give you 10,000 for training expense." I'm like, "Huh? 10,000, nigga? I'm staying at a fucking hotel camp that I'm only gonna have to pay about. I'm gonna say roughly 2,000 for me to be in camp for 8 weeks. So that's another 8,000 that I just had just to myself. I'm sitting there like, what? Man, I gave my team some money. I gave them bonuses, and I kept the rest and chilled. The next morning, I went up to the bank, Marty, and I pressed my shit in, dog. And I seen all them zeros, nigga. I damn near fell out. I was
Yep.
like, damn. So main events, man. They was good, man. But like I said, back then you had Dan Duva, Kathy Duva, my man Carl Moretti was the
Carl
matchmaker.
Moretti.
He would top rank now.
Yeah, Carl Moretti. His brother's a judge.
His brother
Yeah.
is a judge now.
Dan Moretti is a professional judge. Yes, yes,
Oh, you know
indeed.
what?
Carl Moretti.
I never thought about that. That is his brother. Yep, I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
Carl Moretti over there with top ranking Bob Arum and them guys.
Yeah, yep. After he left for a main event, yep.
Yep. I know them guys. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. But hey, man. Like I said, I love you. I love what you're doing, man. You keep your head up,
Appreciate you.
keep doing what you're doing, man. And
Appreciate you.
we'll talk. We always talk, man. We get together and talk. And if you need to know anything or I need to pick your brain about something, I'm definitely gonna do that.
Like you always do. You know I'm gonna answer the
Hey,
phone for
man.
you, champ.
Look, man. You just don't know how good it is or how good it feels to have somebody that you can talk to like you that can also throw things back on me. Cause look. My thing is, I've been a boxer. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
boxed my whole life. I train people. When it comes to the management part, I'm part of that now. But the management part, that's your era. That's where I gotta pick your brain at. And I
Anytime.
appreciate you let me pick your brain,
You know you can call me anytime, man. You know that. Hey,
my
listen,
man.
before you go, and I want to tell you this, I appreciate you too equally, man, for coming up, giving us your knowledge. I didn't even know you was coming up, but the audience, we love you, man, and the knowledge and wisdom that you gave us to understand the mindset of a fighter, man. You know what I mean? Like you said, you went to that bank the next morning, all them zeros you saw in your account, bro. You almost fell out, man. These guys is getting a lot of good money. These big up and coming superstars, but they're stars today. But one day, those guys are going to be superstars like Tank Davis. But these guys are making good money, and it's hard. It's hard to be disciplined and stay focused when the check clear. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
but these guys got to learn how to do it, man. I mean, I know they want the fast things, and I was one of those kids. I had to learn.
yeah,
Unfortunately, that no, I feel good talking like this, but sometimes I feel bad because I know a lot of fighters wasn't in the position that I was in. I had my mom and my dad. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So my mom was the disciplinary one stayed at home, took care of me and my two other brothers, made sure we went to school, made sure we did our homework, made sure we kept our heads in the books and whatever. My dad, he was kind of disciplinary too, but he was more on the focus of the boxing game. He the one who taught us the art of boxing. I didn't have Georgie Benton and all those guys to teach me. All my training came from my dad. So all in all, regardless on how you say it or which way you want to put it, Georgie Pitt and all those guys, Freddie Roach, they was great trainers. No, and they still great trainers. Georgie Benton not here no more, but Freddie Roach still here. He's a great trainer. No disrespect to Freddie Roach, and But my dad is one of the great ones too. He just don't get the recognition for it. And to be honest with you, my dad don't want it. He don't even care. That's how he raised me. Like with me, I love what you're doing for me, Marty. I love what the city of Philly done with me. I love that I'm known across the world. But at the end of the day, champ, that shit don't mean nothing to me. I'm just glad to be here on Earth. I'm glad to raise my kids. I'm glad to know you. I'm glad that we can swing out, hang out, watch fights, all that, all that other recognition and this, that, and I'm watch this guy for that guy. Man, look, that was a wake up situation that I was supposed to do when I woke up anyway. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it. There's no disrespect to the sport because I love the sport. I love all the fighters in the world. I love the managers and the promoters, even though some of them are rotten and dirty. But that's the name of the game, champ.
Yeah. Hey, before you go, real quick, Mighty, who's
Go ahead.
winning? Who's winning Saturday night? Regis Prograis or Devin Haney, in your opinion? Who you got?
Well, I'm picking Devin because I feel as though Devin has the better IQ and he boxes so well. I think Progress just wants to go out there and nail him to get his respect. And that's cool. That's what you need to do. But why you trying to sit up there and do all that and think you're gonna hit this man? Man, that man gonna be boxing your brain silly. You know what I'm saying? He gonna do the old saying that I take from Nazim Richardson. He gonna swim
Swim,
without getting wet.
swim without getting wet. That's what he said.
Exactly. So there you go. That's what it is.
You got it, champ. Thank you so much for coming up, man. I appreciate your wisdom, bro. And give me a call later on sometime this week, bro.
I got you. I appreciate you. Thanks, champ.
All right, salute, champ.
All right, one.
That was my guy. I know that you all that's watching, you came here to talk about what's in the title of this live broadcast. But I have to say this, y'all, real quick. When I see a legend, it don't matter if they from my city or not, that's not important. But when I see a legend in this game, the sport of boxing, that click a link on my channel, doesn't matter how many world titles they won, don't matter how many times they won, no matter how many times they lost in that ring, no matter how many times they've got injured, no matter how much money they were not able to earn, no matter how much money they were able to earn in this sport. Any legend actively involved in this sport or a former professional that click this link, whether I know them personally or not, I'm going to stop my show and make sure that they get an opportunity to say whatever they want to say. And the reason why is because we all love the sport of boxing, right? That's why we do our Town Watch check-ins. We all have that one thing in common. We love the sport of boxing. So if we have somebody who dedicated their lives, blood, sweat, tears, made sacrifices with their spirit and soul in this sport, one of the hardest sports ever. Listen, y'all, I got to open the gates up and let them express themselves so we can understand the mind of the fighter. A lot of times we criticize certain fighters. Sometimes we don't agree with certain things that fighters say and do, but at the end of the day, they're still human, right? And the bottom line is when you got a fighter that can give you that wisdom and open up the way Ivan just opened up. Let these guys open up. Let these female boxers open up because this is their lifestyle. It's not just their life, it's their lifestyle. I mean, they eat, drink, and poop boxing. Something that we love to be entertained by. You know what I mean? So, hey, I know we went on, but I let the legends speak. I honor the legends. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to open up my platform for my brother Ivan. And he was very candid, very honest. You know what I mean? He put it all out there, and hopefully there's fighters that's actively involved in the sport, whether you're amateur going into the professional rankings or if you're already in the professional rankings. I hope that you heard at least one thing that Ivan Robinson just said. as a living legend that you can learn from. I mean, the man told you he was in the casino gambling with Allen Iverson. The man told you that he fired his dad. Had a falling out with his dad. For some of you that have fathers who train you at the same time, and the dynamics of the father-son boxing coach / trainer and boxer relationship. A lot of things that he said. You know what I mean? So you could take at least one thing that Ivan just said and use it as wisdom to apply it in your life to be able to not make some of the same mistakes he did. So I appreciate him coming up. So let's get on with the show. Once again, the link is still pinned to the top. Anybody want to come and join live and live in color, you can do so. If you want to give your perspective on Regis Prograis and Devin Haney, the floor is still open for that. The chat is still open for that. Let's talk about the state of women's boxing. I need to know this in the chat if you're watching live and live in color. And if you're watching a replay of this live, please comment in the comment section below the state of women's boxing. Now, I have a question. I said it in the beginning of the broadcast. I'll re-ask it right now. Women's boxing typically goes the maximum of 10 rounds, the maximum of 2 minutes per round, 1 minute rest period. Do you all think that that is sufficient enough for the female boxers? Or do you all think that the rules should change? Some sanctioning bodies, particularly the WBC, should change their rule and allow the women to have the same rules that the men have when it comes to in-ring performance and competition. Such as with the men, there's the maximum of 12 rounds and 3-minute rounds with 1 minute rest period. Should it be like that for the women, or 2 minutes in a round, 1 minute rest period, and the maximum of 10 rounds? That's sufficient enough. What do you all have to say about it? Let's have a little dialogue over it. Looking forward to you all in the chat to engage. If you're just joining us live and live in color, salute to you. I welcome you tonight. We got some more boxing to talk about, but I wanted to set the tone and see what you all think about that, because we always talk about boxing, but it's not just for the men. Women's boxing has been on the map for many, many decades now. And as time progressed over the years, more women have gotten involved, in the sport of boxing. And of course, the pay scale in boxing is different compared to the male and the females of boxing. It's extremely different. I mean, the money that, the women get paid to box is far less than the money that's being given to the men boxers. So we can tie all that in there. But first, I wanted to ask about the length of time, in a fight, for the women. And what did you all have to say about that? Also, I think we have my guy, Detail Boxing. I did see him in the chat, so salute to my guy, Detail Boxing. If I see any content creator that's in the chat, especially the ones I'm real cool with, I'm always going to acknowledge them. And I also want to acknowledge the supervisors of the Roll the Tape film crew. Big Money Walt, salute to you. Two Cents Boxing, I'm not sure if she's still with us. Salute to her. She was here engaging in the chat as well. We got a lot of people in the chat. I got one of the best chats on YouTube. And the reason I can say that unequivocally is because some of the people that be in my chat, they be also in the chat lighting it up in other content creators' channels. So that's how you know it's the best, when everybody get a chance to, experience the knowledge and the enthusiasm, of all of you great people that engage in the chat. You know what I mean? So that's why I know I got the best chat. When I'm live, my chat be on fire, and I want to make sure I give everybody that engaged in the chat, whether we agree or disagree, their flowers. You know what I mean? Lifeline, what's up? I see you. Original American. Aaron Muhammad, what's good? I see you. Yes, yes. Who else we got in here? Alton Johnson, what's going on? I see you. Fareed, I see you. Toon, what's going on? Yeah, I see y'all. Yes, yes. Lucky McKinnels, I see you. Lucky McKinnels. So what y'all think about that? Women's boxing. How many minutes y'all think they should go per round? 2? Is 2 good enough? Or should all of the sanctioning bodies and the athletic commissions all across the country here in America, should they extend it to 3 minutes per round? And the length of the round, meaning that should it be 10 rounds like it is, or should it extend to 12 rounds? I'm not saying that all fights were 10 rounds, but majority of them are in women's boxing. I wanted to pull up something real quick. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I'm trying to pull something up real quick. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because we know that Amanda Serrano, she actually vacated her WBC title because she's actually having a dispute. That's what triggered this dialogue this evening. She's actually having a dispute, or she had a dispute, with the WBC over, the length of the rounds, being 10 rounds instead of 12, and then the minutes of the rounds. She actually vacated her title after that dispute, basically saying she don't even want to represent the sanctioning body anymore, because the WBC has a strict policy on women's boxing that they will not allow the extension of the rounds or the extensions of the time inside of the rounds for women's boxing. And so I wanted to get y'all take on it. Lucky said yes, but I'm trying to understand what are you saying yes to? Should the time stay 2 minutes per round for women's within 10 rounds, or should it be 12 rounds in 3 minutes? Okay, I got you on that, Lucky. I hear you. And on top of that, too, those championship fights, they stay at 10 rounds no matter what sanctioning body, regulates and sanction those bouts. It's always been 10 rounds, 2 minutes for those championship fights anyway, but they may change it. We don't know. I know the WBC don't sound like they're willing to change it. It seems like they have always refused it for their own reasons. I mean, I know safety. I know for a fact that one of their primary talking points is the safety of the female fighters. But boxing is boxing. You know what I mean? To me, I mean, pay how you weigh. That's what I say. Pay these women, how you weigh. If you want them to compete, whether it be for 10 rounds, whether it be for title or not, whether it be for 12 rounds, pay them their fair market value. And I'm not saying that the fair market value for women are the same for men, because it is not. But at least pay the women the fair market value, and it should be more than what most of them are getting paid. In fact, not even most of them, all of them are getting paid now. You know what I mean? But remember, we live in a capitalist country where it's all about supply and demand. So if there's not a lot of demand, for women's boxing, we can't, expect there to be a lot of money in it for the women's boxing. But I believe there is a lot of money in women's boxing and for the women's boxers. You know what I mean? Just like it's money over there in UFC for the women. Now, I'm not saying that those women that do the MMA sport over there at UFC get paid the same as the men at UFC. I don't know. But I do know in boxing, the women boxers do not get paid. Man, they get paid. When I say way less, I mean like super way less than the men. But what can justify that is the amount of rounds, the championship rounds that they fight in, which is 10. But you got some men who has fought in 10 rounds and still got paid more money competing 10 rounds than a woman competing in a championship fight 10 rounds. Like, don't forget Jamar Charlo. He just fought Jose Benavidez Jr. That was a 10-round fight. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about economics, supply and demand. It's all about expectation level. You know, it's all about the sponsorship, who's willing to put the monies up. All that has a lot to do, with the revenue that can be generated. And of course, after you slice all of that up, the fighters being able to be compensated fairly. I just wanted to put something out. I just wanted to make sure that I'm putting out accurate information. All right, let's move right along real quick. Now we got another fight card, obviously, that I don't want to be overshadowed by Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis this weekend, and we're not going to touch on it too hard yet because I do want Devin Haney and Regis Prograis to get the fair promotion that they deserve since they are fighting this weekend. But I don't want to neglect mentioning the fight card that's happening on December 23rd. I mean, both of these fight cards are happening on the Zone. The Zone looks like they're, closing the year out with some big fights. They closing it out. They closing the show out the way they're supposed to. You know what I mean? Anthony Joshua against Wallen, and then Wilder against Joseph Parker. I mean, we ain't gonna give a whole breakdown of none of that. We're not gonna give a prediction of none of that. I just wanted to see what y'all think about those two fights. I think that's what I was trying to figure out too. Let me finish checking that out. I think I heard Bivol was on that card. In the advertisement, I don't recall seeing his face or his name. Originally, I did see it, but in the new circulations, I'm not sure if he's on there. So I want to make sure that I pull that up. But anyway, even if Bivol not on the card, hey, oh, okay, because I thought they were saying Bivol at first. Oh, okay, 2 Cents Boxing saying it's not Bivol. Okay, that's why I wanted to pull this thing up here. Wow. Speaking of Anthony Joshua, it looks like I'm looking up here. Anthony Joshua made the Forbes list. Did y'all know about that? Anthony Joshua, it looks like he made the Forbes list. It says here, as of May 16, 2023, Anthony Joshua was 2023's the world's highest paid athlete with the earnings of $53 million. That's what I'm reading here on Forbes.com, their website. He definitely has a massive social media following. He has 26 million followers across Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I don't know if we can give any credence to Forbes because sometimes they be saying one thing. I've seen them say one thing, and then like a week later they changed it up and said something else. I'm just telling you what I saw. So that's what I see on their website. I was looking for something else with the whole Bivol thing because Joshua was on that card. Obviously, he's headlining the card. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they're saying. You know, hey, I definitely know he makes a lot of money. I mean, when you fight over across the pond anyway in London, you're going to get your biggest payday, especially if you're American. There's no question about that. But over there in London, they are huge. And we got people right now from England alone that support this channel, you know, that's a part of the viewership. You know what I mean? Not just in London. We have people from Manchester, England as well. You know what I mean? England showed me, I got a very small demographic. But see, what's going to happen is they're going to make me travel over there to London and do a live podcast over there to get with the people. You know what I mean? They're going to make me go over there because I'm still a rookie with this. But, you know, I'm going to be internationally available. You know what I mean? You never know. Anything can happen. It's boxing. I might get a call from Saudi Arabia in the next couple of years. You never know. You know, I'm not exclusive just to America. You know what I mean? You know, let me stop talking because, you know, when I speak things in existence, you know, a lot of people be watching. I'm not talking about the supporters. They be watching and listening, and then they start stealing my dance moves. So I'm going to be quiet. I ain't going to talk too much about the plans. But I'll let y'all know. Let me get that call. Let me get a call from Saudi Arabia. Let me get it letting y'all know immediately. Yep, we out in the rain. We out with the Saudis. They cutting the check. Come meet me out there, live and living color. You know I'm gonna tell y'all. But yeah, man, you know. So what y'all think about that card? We just started with that. What do y'all think about Deontay Wilder coming back into the fold, fighting Joseph Parker? What do y'all think about Anthony Joshua coming back? You know, he's been active. He fought earlier this year. What was that? March, April, or something like that. I think that was March. What was that? March or April? When he fought when Joshua came back and fought and knocked the boy Helenius out. Remember in that fight? Well, anyway, he's on the card again as y'all already know. What y'all think about that? Oh yeah, you can see me on the camel. I don't even know how to ride a camel. I think I rode the camel a couple times at the zoo when I was a little kid or something. Man, let the Saudis call me up. I ain't never been to Saudi Arabia. I'm going right over there. I was supposed to go to Dubai some years ago. That was another situation. They had nothing to do with boxing though. You know what I mean? But that situation, it didn't materialize properly. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be a little getaway. I'm gonna leave that alone because that's in the past. You never know. People might be watching me now. You know what I mean? They probably watching me now like, why he still talking about that? That's all. Oh. Yeah. Mess the trip up. That's why. Mess our trip up. No, it's all good. But yeah, let the Saudis call me up. I'm going right out there. Yeah, cut the check. I'm bringing the roller tape film crew with me. It's a lot of us. Right now it's about, what they say I got, 6,500 and something roller tape film crew members, something like that. And I got about 6, 7, I can think about 6, 7 supervisors, members of the channel. Oh, we all out there in Saudi. Live and living, we out there. Let the Saudis call me up. We gone. Somebody said it's a great card. It is the last pay-per-view of the year, by the way, in boxing. My man, Deontay Hall Boxing Talk says that he's buying it. I don't remember seeing Deontay Hall Boxing Talk in the chat. Oh, I don't remember. But salute to you, Deontay Hall. Thank you for joining us. What y'all think about that card, man? Don't tell me your prediction yet, because next week we're gonna dive into the preview, the breakdown, prediction. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get right into it, because my thing is this though. I'll tell you what I think. I think it's real good as long as Deontay Wilder, if he wins that fight, and as long as Anthony Joshua, if he wins his fight, as long as both of those guys fight each other, because that's a competitive card, and if both of those guys win, let them fight each other now. You know, they both in their 30s, especially Wilder. He's in his late 30s. Let him get that big payday. And here's the thing about it. They can fight over there in Saudi Arabia. This is what this thing is about. Remember, Deontay Wilder was out there in Saudi Arabia. Remember when he saw Fury and they shook hands and was talking? He was already out there negotiating for this fight that he's in now. So he's cool. You know, he's in there with the Saudis. Let these two guys fight each other, and barring if they win, let them get it on. Let them fight their prospective opponents. Both of them will win. Hopefully, let them fight each other now. And they can fight over there in Saudi Arabia. Why not? I would say fight in London, but I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to keep it 100. I don't think Anthony Joshua, you know what I mean, earned the right to be the ace side over Deontay Wilder. That's just my opinion. But of course, that's home. That's what I mean is he'll have a home field advantage. You know, of course, you know that. And like I always tell y'all, okay, I done told people months and months ago that when a fighter from America goes over to London and one of their fighters even stumble their opponent, the ref going to jump in and going to stop it. Let me give you an example. Remember that time when Louis Ortiz fought Deontay Wilder? That would have been Joshua out there at the O2 Arena in London. Remember at the end of the round when Louis Ortiz hit Wilder with that big left hand? He clipped Wilder. Wilder didn't fall, if y'all remember that. He didn't fall. He got buzzed. He got buzzed. You know what I mean? And Ortiz was trying to finish him off, but the round ended. That would have happened with Joshua. Man, the ref would have stopped that joint. Boom, 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 it's over. Like, Wilder was buzzed, but he wasn't hurt to the point where he couldn't continue. But that's how it is. Lucky said, no, Lucky, you can still do what you do. When I go out there, what I mean by I'm taking the roller tape film crew members with me is we're going to be live. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking the lights, my cameras, the backdrop, everything going, my phones, everything going out there with me. So y'all going to be there with me. We're going to be live. That's what I'm saying. So if you want to do your little thing, your 1-2, I ain't going to repeat it over in the chat, over live, what you said in the chat. If you want to do your 1-2, you can be in, you can be home anyway, doing your 1-2. So it's all good. And if you do want to go travel with me, come on through. Come on. We just can't bring nothing with us now. Because y'all seen what happened to Bomac. Y'all you can't bring nothing over there. These countries, other countries, they don't play all that. So you got to leave all the hardware. Leave all the hardware in the house. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but Yeah, we're gonna see. I just want. I don't think that this card is being put together just because. You know, I know that Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, you know, I know that they have been moving Joshua a certain way, and they've done a great job with Anthony Joshua's career. They made one mistake with Anthony Joshua. They only made one mistake with him. They called the wrong opponent for him. That's the only mistake that they made for him. Remember that time they called Andy Ruiz like a week or two before the actual fight? Because the boy, what's his name? From New York, Brooklyn. Big baby Jarrell Miller. Is that him? I think that's him. Yeah, big baby Jarrell Miller. He tested positive multiple times for banned substances. Remember him? He was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua. All that trash he talked. He was supposed to go over there and rumble. But when he tested positive for them banned substances, they had to drop him from the card. And a week or two later, guess who they had? Guess who they called? They called Andy Ruiz, a guy who was just on a PBC card fighting that big tall guy. And I forgot that tall. I ain't seen him since. I think he might have fought one more time after that. Remember, I'm gonna pull Andy Ruiz record, his joiner, his box rec. I forgot who he was fighting. Remember, they was on PBC. That was one of the first couple of times PBC was pushing Andy Ruiz. Remember, Andy Ruiz was in there with that big guy, the real tall guy. That's the only mistake they made. They called the wrong B-side opponent. But it was the right decision for Andy Ruiz and, you know, all of his handlers. What's going on with this thing? Oh, this joint tripping on me. Yeah, they called Andy Ruiz last minute. They called the last minute replacement. It's like, Andy Ruiz, we're gonna pay you a couple dollars. Come on over here and fight Joshua. Yep. And you know they thought Andy Ruiz was not gonna beat no Anthony Joshua, especially last minute replacement. Usually when you're a last minute replacement, sometimes you can get caught slipping as a fighter, especially if you're not training or if you're not being consistent in training. They give you the call like, yo, you can sell tickets real quick, or you can get some type of attention from an audience. Come on over. Come on over real quick. We're going to give you this bag. You're going to come across the pond. They called the wrong opponent that day. Well, I'm about to see something real quick. I'm about to see who that guy was that he fought. Before he fought, what's his name? There you go. That's him. Dimitrenko, that tall, the tall white guy. Dimitrenko. Y'all remember him? Yep. Because when Al Heyman signed Andy Ruiz, he put him on that card and had him fighting him. Y'all remember that? Y'all forgot about that? He fought the guy Dimitrenko that was on Fox. And on top of that, I think that was Danny Garcia. I forgot who the headliner was. But y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Because, see, they was like, oh, man, Andy Ruiz going to be overweight like he always is. Call him. Al Heyman was like, yeah, we'll take the fight. Yeah, Al knew Andy Ruiz was in shape. Oh, no doubt. He went right over there and embarrassed Anthony Joshua. And I'm going to keep it all the way 100 with y'all, like I always do. I believe that after that fight, Anthony Joshua has not been the same. Remember, I'm the only one on YouTube that brought this up in interviews and even on this channel. And I'm going to repeat myself right now. There's two types of beatings that fighters take. Fighters get beat up And some fighters get beat down. And I believe that Andy Ruiz, he beat down Anthony Joshua because he hasn't been the same since. But he is recovering, and he has avenged that loss from Andy Ruiz. And he has won more fights even after that. Of course, he lost to Usyk. But the point is, to me, he just never been the same. Hopefully, at the end of this month, he can change it all around and, stay focused and maintain the momentum that he's been having thus far with a new trainer in Derrick James. Now, of course, people have been saying that he's not with Derrick James no more. I think he even said he's going to spin the block and rehire Derrick James again after this fight. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. All I do know is if he get in that ring with the Bronze Bomber, I don't know, man. I don't even want to get no prediction on that right now. I told you I don't want to get nothing up. But he might get his. I ain't going to say nothing. I just hope these guys both win, and I hope that Matchroom and Al Heyman and PBC and his name is on the tip of my tongue. Wilder's manager, besides Al. Man, I know this guy. I've been forgetting my fighters. When Ivan was on here, Shelly Finkel. I know my boxing. Shelly Finkel and them guys put this together. Go ahead and let both of these guys fight. London, Wilder gonna make big payday out there. Ain't no question about it. But the Saudis got the money now too. So either way, I just think that the fight should be either Saudi Arabia between Joshua and Wilder or O2 Arena in London. I don't think they should come here in America. No. Go out there and get that big money. That's all I'm saying. Well, it happens. You got your good shows, your high, enthusiastic shows, and you got your relaxed, chill shows. Today was a chill show. We relaxed. We back here now. Don't forget, we back here tomorrow. Live and living color. We back here tomorrow now. We going all week. Y'all know how we do. We here all week. Monday through Friday. We back here tomorrow like it's nothing. Live and living color. I'm not going to hold you all too long. Come on back here tomorrow, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Got some published content I'm putting out all week. Got to get ready for the Dallas Cowboys versus Philadelphia Eagles game. Big game Sunday night. Got to get ready for that this weekend. Got to get ready for some basketball. We got football. Not on this channel. I'm just talking, saying, a lot of sports going on this weekend is where I'm getting at. A lot of sports is going on this weekend is where I'm getting at. Starting Saturday night. Regis Prograis, Devin Haney. We're going to still deal with it tomorrow. We're going to get it. Oh, somebody said the Ravens too. Yeah, the Ravens. Y'all know Smooth Criminal representing Maryland. I think Smooth Criminal from Maryland. You from Maryland, right, Smooth? I think he's from Baltimore. Yeah. So, come on back through. We're going to chop it up again tomorrow. Then we're going to chop it up again Friday. I might even, listen, I might. I told y'all before, I'll let y'all know by tomorrow or Thursday if I'm going to do live commentary on the fight between Regis and Devin. When I do my live commentaries, man, I'll be really commentating on these fights. I'll be really into it. You know what I mean? You right, Lucky. That was definitely not the same Andy Ruiz that second go round. And look, Think about what Ivan Robinson just talked about. When he got that phone call, he's like, man, they ain't paying me all this money. What did he tell y'all? The next day, what happened? He went in his bank account. He saw all them zeros. Yeah, that happened. That probably happened to Andy Ruiz. He became the heavyweight champ of the world after being Joshua. Man, he got all them zeros. Man, that boy done bought a bit. Did y'all see he had a Rolls Royce? He done bought a big mansion. I mean, it was unfortunate that he broke up with his girl. That was his girlfriend, right? But she played him and did all that nut stuff that she did in the media. I ain't like that. I felt sorry for my man Andy Ruiz. That's my guy. But man, he was a different type of Andy then. He had that check. Changed him. His motivation wasn't there no more. He probably wasn't even in the gym like that. You see how fat he was. Now, it's good to be fat if you in shape, but Andy Ruiz did not look like he was in shape in that second fight. Some guys don't, keep that same hunger. You know what I mean? He was living it up. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Shoot. Some of us done messed up our money off a $2,000 income tax refund check. Or a $500 bonus from work. So I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? Or $20,000 slip and fall lawsuit settlement or a car accident settlement. Y'all know how it is when we get some lump sums. You know about them lump sums? Sometimes it happens. You start balling out. So that's how, hey, it happens, man. But we back here live again tomorrow. We went almost 2 hours a day. That was good. We chilled today. We're gonna chill again tomorrow too. You know what I mean? Sometimes we have our hype shows and boom boom wow. Then we have our little fallback chill shows. We're competing with other content creators that might be coming on live right now or later. But that's why we slide in at 4 o'clock. We slide in at 4 before everybody else get on. We do what we do. We make our adjustments accordingly, man. I had fun today. I was just chill. Y'all was chill. You know what I mean? We'll be back here tomorrow live in living color. And the same way, and I forgot to do this yesterday, y'all, and the other day, but the same way I come in, what I tell y'all, that's the same way I'm going to go out. Let me tell y'all the reason why I say that. I'm being real funny, but this is a true story real quick. And what I mean by that is I'm referring to my intro. In the beginning, I play the intro, right? That's how I pull up. But I want to pull out the same way with the intro. And the thing is, right? I got my guys in the chat. All my guys here. Lucky, Smooth, Elijah. These guys, all these my guys, man. All these my guys. Fareed, Original American. I got my queen here, 2 Cents Boxing. She's one of the queens of boxing here on YouTube. Lucky, you know what I mean? Andre Noble. You know what I mean? These are my guys here, right? I think Dean might still be here. If not, Aaron Muhammad. That's my guy. Day one supporter, Lifeline Music. So I can say what I'm about to say real quick, right? This was years ago. This was totally not recent. This is for real years ago. And I was visiting a newly acquainted companion because I it was really newly acquainted. It's like my second time at this girl's house, this young lady's house. And I go there, right? Walk through the front door. Everything was cool. I wasn't there no more than 5 minutes. And some of y'all heard me say this quick little story before, but I'm going to say it again. I get in there in her house. I'm only there for 5 minutes. Just chilling. I just got there. Boom. We talking a little bit, 5 minutes. 5 minutes go by. Boom, 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 boom. Knock at the door. Not the door. You know, I'm from the East Coast and I say door. But I love that accent from down south, so I got to say door. Banging on the door. Boom, 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 boom. I looked at her like, what? Who that? Oh, I think that's my baby father. I said, sweetheart, I thought you told me you're not with the guy anymore. She said, I'm not with him no more, but Man, he just be, whoa. Let me tell you like this, sweetheart. I don't have a wife. I don't have a girlfriend. I'm not sneaking out no back doors. I'm not jumping out no windows because I ain't hiding. We not in a relationship or nothing. You know, it's my second time here. But I just want you to know that the same door that I walked in on is the same door that I'm going to walk out of. So whatever y'all got to do to straighten out y'all situation, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of this. I'm going to get up out of here. You know what I mean? Because I got some artilleries. You know what I mean? I got some Hey, I don't want to get demonetized. YouTube already playing with my viewership and my money. I don't know what punishment YouTube got me on. I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm going to take it in stride regardless. But I don't want to I had the thing on me. You understand? I had the blicker. You understand? Strapped tooth and nail. I'm just saying, that's just how sometimes you got to roll, man. You know what I mean? When you're single and you're going certain places, you just never know. You know what I'm talking about? So I told her, listen, I play too much though, but it's real. It's real. Listen, I'm gonna go out that same front door. I'm leaving out that same front door I came in on. Yeah. I ain't listen. I didn't know. You told me you ain't had you was single, man. That's what you told me. Now I hear this big banging on the door. Like, listen, I ain't gotta have a whole conversation with you. But that front door right there that I came in, I'm leaving out that same front door. I'm just letting you know that right now. You know what I'm talking about? So y'all, when I leave, y'all go ahead and handle what y'all. I don't know what y'all got going on. Y'all gonna need to go ahead and handle that. Oh yeah. So I'm saying all of that to say that the same way I pulled up on y'all with the intro, that's the same way I'm leaving out on. I'm Manager Marty. Don't take my word for it. Make sure y'all come through tomorrow, live in living color, for another episode of Roll to Tape Podcast. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty. Thank you. You're far too kind.